Hey, what's up, everyone? You are watching or listening to the My Comic Book Journey podcast. I'm your host, KNDY. In this podcast, I talk about my journey of reading a lot of the comics in my collection, a lot of them that I've been collecting for so long throughout my life, and finally getting a chance to reread or read for the first time a lot of them. So for today's episode, we are going back in July 1977 for The Invaders, the greatest superheroes of World War II. This one was written and edited by Roy Thomas. Illustrators were Frank Robbins and Frank Springer. Letters by J. Costanza. Colorists George Roussos. So back in 1964, writer Roy Thomas and artist Sal Buscema would feature the debut of the Invaders in the Avengers issue number 71. But the group before they had the Invaders moniker dates back in the 1940s in All Winners Comics issue number 19. Fall of 1946, which was published by Timely Comics, the original name before it changed to Marvel Comics in 1961, and they would appear once more in issue 21. The superhero team was known as the All-Winner Squad and features a team which would consist of Captain America, Bucky, Human Torch, Toro, Submariner, Whizzer, Miss America, Blonde Phantom, and Angel. Note, this is not the same Angel from the Uncanny X-Men. In 1975, the first issue of The Invaders was released, and the setting would be during World War II, and Adolf Hitler and the Nazis were the primary antagonists. Let's go ahead and show you this little image here. You can see this right here. The kind of style back then. But anyway, in issue 18, the Invaders, Captain America is beaten by the 7-foot Nazi female warrior known as the Warrior Woman, original name, right? As she throws him off to the sea, another anti-Nazi superhero breaks his fall. His name is the Mighty Destroyer. His first appearance was back in Mystic Comics issue number 8 back in 1942. And according to writer-historian Roy Thomas, Destroyer was Stan Lee's most popular hero prior to the Fantastic Four back then. And unlike other heroes, Destroyer's home base was in occupied Europe. As the Mighty Destroyer saves Captain America's life, Namor is being pummeled by the strong Nazi warrior, Masterman. Once again, another original name. Adolf Hitler praises his two Nazi heroes for defeating the Invaders, but Adolf Hitler praises both the Warrior Woman and Masterman as being birthed in his own image, and this upsets the Warrior Woman, who frowns down upon Masterman. And Hitler tells them that both will marry each other, which upsets the Warrior Woman, and she refuses. When Hitler asks if the Warrior Woman is defying him, she tells them it was so unexpected and needs alone time to think. Meanwhile, the Masterman is upset that the Warrior Woman refuses him. As Hitler has the Invaders caged and has them locked up so they can't use their powers or their abilities, he now plans to parade them to his Nazi supporters. Meanwhile, he sends his Nazis to get Captain America's body and shield so the Nazis can examine him. But as the three Nazi soldiers go underwater to retrieve Captain America, he and the Mighty Destroyer are able to escape and plan their next move in hopes to rescue his fellow invaders. If there was anything that I saw reading it, in present time, was the final panel, and Captain America's final words were a tad bit over dramatic to hear from Captain America. But then again, there have been many different sides we have seen of Steve Rogers and Captain America throughout the years. It has been a long time since I've read The Invaders, and to be truthful, the last memory I have is when I was probably 6 years old, My parents went bowling, and I didn't care too much about bowling. That I sat in the chair, and I recall reading an issue of the Invaders. Not sure if it was something from the library, or I actually had a comic book back then. I'm not sure. Probably the former. It's very interesting because I read it at a very young age and loved reading comic books. But the thing is that I remember this group so well, and I thought they were pretty awesome, to tell you the truth. I think if anything, I think this one is really an interesting issue. I think number 18 is highly sought for just because of the Mighty Destroyer. That's if you're a big fan of that character or not. And you get to learn more of his origin, and how he became the character. And that is pretty much it. But yeah, this is the Invaders. Was just something interesting to have characters based in World War II, and then showcasing it almost 30 years later, just for this comic book. It's interesting. Again, a lot of the concepts are based on the 40s, but yet this one came out back in 1977. Not sure how many people really cared about it, because again, this is not the same. I guess you can't say it's the same Namor, the same Captain America. It is. It's just that it was when they were. This is when they get the timeline. The timeline gets really skewed, but you have to remember that Captain America, Steve Rogers, was a product of the 40s that was, de-thawed in the present time, to have the super strength and agility. But Toro, Human Torch, I think, was it Toro or is it? Well, we know the original Human Torch. Nothing like the Human Torch of Fantastic Four. Different character. And Namor the Submariner, he's been around for such a long time. But anyway, that is it for the Invaders. You all take care. Wink, wink. And take care, everyone. Bye-bye.